All right, welcome back to the TNEC cast, episode 39. Your boy Shuff with the Weapon K. We are the TNEC cast. Man, I can't believe we're at episode 39. Very happy. Thank you for everybody that's been tuning in, tapping in. We appreciate all of you. And speaking of appreciation, the housekeeping, like, comment, subscribe, all the above. We appreciate everybody that does that, and it's free. But yeah. So, okay, how you feeling?
I'm chilling, dog. I'm chilling. Episode 39. I think our 1 year mark is in February, like February 1st. So the first week of February. So that's exciting. That's exciting to stick through this for an entire year. You know what I mean? It's one thing to start something, but it's another thing to kind of, stick to it and keep it going. This is a weekly tradition, bro. Same time, same place. I love it. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of staying present. But what does that mean, Coop? What does that mean, Chef? It's like staying present in the moment. Like right now, we are present in this moment. We're focused on the tasks at hand. But not to dive too deep into it, Coach, go ahead. Take it off.
So it's funny when we were talking. I like to kind of bring up some of the things that we talked about in in the pre-show, and Kay jokingly called me Kobe Bryant when I was talking about just being present. That's what we were talking about what we should talk about. And so what's cool about being present, there's a lot of different definitions for it that are correct. You know what I mean? And so to me, the way that I look at it, like, so Isaac, how are you present? So being present, like, so I'll talk about it from the standpoint of my clients. So I'll leave. That's a very a simple one and a relatable one. So being present for them is knowing their program, where they are in the program, how they're doing, having that working knowledge of what is going on. But also present is they know if they need me, I'm there. I will check in. Now here's the caveat. If you are somebody that's consistent, I'll check in on you just to make sure that you're, because, I use a, DJ as an example, checks in like clockwork. I don't think I've ever had to ask her for a check-in. She checks in like clockwork. So I check on her every, just a little bit, say, hey, how's everything going? Need anything? Boom, so, but it's called, that's being present, right? So that's one way of being present, is that you are there. Now, sometimes you can't always physically be there, but you're just there, whether you're a FaceTime or a text message away. That being present is important, because now you are present in that person's life or in that situation. So that way they know that you're there, you're impacting it. Now, kind of, one other thing I want to touch on when it comes to being present, it is the importance of being actually present and there. Because in this world, this is kind of what led to this topic. What Kay and I were talking about is, I said, I was like, our relationship wouldn't be as strong if we would have never met in person. We never connect. I mean, not that we see each other all the time, but we see each other in person. So it's not just through social media and through the cast that we are present in each other's lives. Now, look, social media is a wonderful tool when used properly, because it's going to bring people together from all across the world in different ways, shape, or form. But there's no substitute for actually physically being present. Again, I can relate it back to our sport. A shout out to Pete. I was in the show in Houston. He came through. Would not have changed our relationship. Well, at least I would have said it wouldn't have changed our relationship for the worse if he would have not came to that show or whatever, because look, we all have lives, things get going on. He could, because like we always do, we wish each other luck, show the love and everything like that. We are present in that way, but now he takes the next step, which is why the relationship is so strong. He showed up at the show, tapped in. I'm telling you, that made my day. I was so happy to see him. I was like, oh my, and he had a TNEC shirt on. Presence. He was present of mind to wear that shirt to support, you know what I mean? So when you use that word present, like you start to now see the different, the different ways, and the beautiful thing is being able to use real world examples. You see what I'm saying? But be present, because if you're not present, like when you're in your work, right? So, Kay talked about how we're in this show right now. So if Kay wasn't present right now and I flip it over to him, he's like, what was the last thing you said? Or what are we talking about? You don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? And it's vice versa. You know, I don't want to be all thinking about, okay, what's this person's pro? No, I gotta be present. I gotta be tuned into what he's saying. So then that way, if I need to interject or I'm not listening to respond, but again, it's a show where it's going to be the back and forth and everything. You need to be present. So being present in the moment. And the last thing I'll say about it before we get Kay's ideas on this, and we've heard this before, but hopefully I say it in a way that strikes a chord with somebody. You know, if you look right. Don't look too far down, don't look too far down the road, and don't look too far behind you. Because I'm not going to lie, it's almost impossible to spend every waking moment in the present moment with what you're doing right now. However, if you want to get ahead and get to that goal, you have to focus on the task at hand, be present of mind of what you're doing. For example, for us in the gym, you have to really, when you scan your key card or punch your code in or whatever, you got to be present for that workout. If you really are trying to accomplish something, because if you aren't present, you see what I'm saying? You're thinking about, the result. You're thinking about how you're going to look in 6 months or whatever like that. You're not going to be satisfied with what you're doing. You're not going to be tuned into that. So with that being said, because I know Mr. K over here is an intent, he works out pretty intensely. What does it mean to you in your world to be present?
Well, whenever I'm not present, I have this mean stutter. And I actually learned this like last year. Whenever because I'll just be in my own head, right? So let's say we're having a conversation in person, and you just hear me just start. I just stammer over my words, or I would just like change the vowels in a word or something like that. It's because I'm not really paying attention to the conversation, right? So, especially in these, go back into the earlier podcasts, and you would hear me do exactly that. Just because I'm thinking about, I sound stupid right now. Right. What are the people listening to this right now thinking about me right now? I'm not present in the moment. I'm not having a conversation with Isaac. I'm thinking about a dingleberry on YouTube in a YouTube comment section saying, yo, this dude sounds stupid. You see what I'm saying? Actually, today, this morning, my troop got into a little trouble. So we had to go meet with the big dog. We had to go meet with the commander this morning. And prior to me going into the building, I sat into the parking lot for 30 minutes, just staring at the buildings. Man, this can go one or two ways. This can go up or down. He can be cool, or it's raining hellfire from the heavens. But the one thing I was I have to control how I react, and I have to control my presence. So in order for me to control my presence, I have to be present.
Ooh, say that again.
In order for me to control my presence, I have to be present. But check this out, right? You can create this phony, whack, fake alpha male presence, or you can truly go in there who you are. You know what I mean? If you're just a goofy dude, clumsy dude, and all of a sudden you just walk into a room, you're just this chest up, you know what I mean, snooty, I'm an alpha type deal, people are going to see right through that.
Yeah.
See right through that. That's what I actually thought whenever you said present. I was like, oh, so we're talking about presents, because this is also one thing that let's change the topic for just a brief second. For just young men, young women out there, whenever you step into a room, you want to have your presence be known. Same thing when you step on stage. Stage presence. You don't get stage presence by not being present in that moment. You don't go in there thinking about, what I'm going to be eating after I get off stage. You want to sit there and be like, I'm going to look judges in the eye. Every step I take is powerful. This smile, there's authenticity in this smile right now. It's not some phony smile that I got. And you can, right? You see it all the time. It's corny. Anyway, not to go into body language, but you know who's nervous or not. You can smell right through. You can see right through it. So going back to being present, Commander, right? I actually learned this in a book called Battle Cry by Jason Williams. and it's called the shalat, where you just, you inhale. It's like a meditation type deal, just so you can kind of, relax, focus on the task at hand. And I do the same thing prior to my workouts. If I have to, I would look at my my ammo box, where I have like, hey, this person said this to me, da 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 da, or you're doing this for Gigi, your child, da 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 da, and I will use that and I meditate on it. So whenever I do, open up the gym doors, it's go time. I know what's up. You know what I mean? So, do you talk to your athletes about creating that presence on stage? And if so, what are some tips that you give them to kind of build up that confidence?
Oh man, that's a great question. So yes, I do. So I tell everybody, there's a few things that I tell everybody, because like I'm just a big believer in giving everybody a solid foundation. Mm-hmm. And then just the way I always say that we build your house. Everybody's house is built different. Same solid ass foundation that we know works, but your house, whether it's a mansion, bungalow, whatever it is. So what I tell people, right? First, I try to put them at ease. If it's somebody that's just very high strung and very nervous, put them at ease. I'm like, look, when you look into that crowd, maybe 10% of the people are athletes. Maybe, probably not, but maybe 10% of the people. So 90% of those people don't have the heart to do what you're doing. So you can't worry about what they're thinking. That's no disrespect to the crowd. I mean, I can't play basketball to the level of LeBron, but what I'm saying is, to take them down, like, yeah, that's right. So I tell them that. And it's like, the other thing is, look, no, you're not going, I've yet to see somebody get booed at a show or anything like that.
Me too, yeah.
So I'm like, the worst that can happen is just, silent, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I tell them, I was like, we're not going to curse. I tell them just not to give a care, because that's something that I adopt. When I go out there, if I'm being silly, stone-faced, whatever my attitude for being present at that time is, personally, I'm like, I don't care what these people think. They're gonna get a show whether they like it or not. Mm-hmm. So those are the things. But now I tell them, so when we talk about the foundation, right? So if it's a first timer, I talk to them about, hey, find a spot in the crowd, because if you look up at the lights, you might go. And or everything like that. Because I remind them, look, you're going to be hungry, tired, all those different things. So it's hard to be present. So you got to find somewhere to focus to help you to be present, to bring across your presence. Mm-hmm. This is why I'm not a big believer. Now, a bodybuilding, a women's physique, or a classic physique routine is different. But I tell everybody else in all the other categories, I'm like, look, your poses, what you are doing, go out there and let the day dictate. So, and it's not saying don't practice it, but let the day dictate, because it's very obvious when you mess up. Mm-hmm. Now, classic physique, bodybuilding, women's physique, those routines you practice day and night all the time. So I hate to say choreograph, but that is a practice routine that, but still, even still, you can still go out there. I don't want to say wing it, but if you practice your posing all the time, you can go out there, flow. Like, for example, if you're, this is a good about being present. So, Kyrie, he's already done it. So classic Coop is coming, whether we like it or not. I shouldn't say whether you like it or not, but classic Coop is coming. You like it, but classic Coop is coming. So if Kyle's not there and I'm there, right? I'm saying, and the music is messed up. When I'm telling Kyrie, I was like, well, it's time to freestyle.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Be present. Listen to that music. Hopefully it's a song you let it go. Your poses. Be present in this moment right now. But so that's one of the things, like, so just when I'm talking to athletes, and I'm not gonna lie, when I talk to other athletes too, it's always about just focus on you. Just worry, the cool thing about our sport, you get to be very selfish. So when you say think about you, do you, it's okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because what's cool is while you have teammates, you don't got nobody to pass the ball to, or anything like that. It's you. So be present in that moment. I know some people tune everything out. I'm one of those people. I accept everything, if that makes sense. So I tell athletes, you got to figure out, because sometimes I've seen it happen a couple of times where athlete tries to do like myself, or they try to do like somebody else. I'm like, no, again, present and presence. You can't be present in you while trying to be somebody else.
Bingo.
You have to do what you do. If you're not really a smiler, you should smile. Figure out a way. Think about something that makes you happy, so you have a smile on your face. If you're not really energetic, because me, when I'm on stage, I'm very energetic. That comes across as inauthentic, and that's not being present. If you are not an energetic person, you sitting there trying to do this, and then you're like, and you just look like you're about to fall. So that's like the big, like those big things, because again, that's why it's such a good question, because it's not an easy answer, and it's not just a very I tell them, because that's something that if as a coach, and for athletes especially, when I'm saying this, if your coach doesn't know how to kind of tell you that, just put that in your bank and understand what's going on, because as a coach, my job is to learn you, understand what makes you tick. Understand, are you high strung? Are you nervous? Are you somebody that doesn't, do I have to tell you to bring the energy? Do I have to tell you to dial it back? So everybody's a little bit different. So I can't give the same advice. Like with the gym, I can kind of give you the same advice. Like discipline over motivation is very simple. You just got to get in there. Same thing with nutrition, discipline over motivation. You just got to eat the food, do the workouts kind of stuff. But the stage is different, because you do have to bring a presence. And here's the other thing. And then I'll throw it back to Kay. You have to understand what your presence is. That is important, because now you're present, but do you understand what your presence is? Kyrie's presence isn't somebody that stutters and stammers. Kyrie's presence is strong. And that's no disrespect to anybody that stutters and stammers, but he knows why he stutters and stammers. So when he is present, he knows what his presence should be. So being present is step one. And from an action standpoint, being present is step one. But from a planning and thought process, you need to understand what your presence is. Now, look, you can again, for the stage, because I've told people to adopt stage personas before, if you need to. Yeah. You know what I mean? Be that whatever it is. If you gotta call it a different name, whatever, be that on stage. Because it's just like, wrestling. There's some athletes, not wrestlers or athletes, where they have their persona, but they're totally different in real life. But when they're performing, when they're applying their trade, they're present in the moment, and that's what they are. For all the wrestling fans, there's a thing called kayfabe, where back in the day, back in the Hulk Hogan times, when my ass still thought wrestling was real. I mean, it is
Same
real.
Here.
It wasn't scripted. Let me say that I didn't know it was scripted. I thought nobody knew the outcome, and different things like that. Those guys, when they were out on the road and they were out, they stayed in character if they were around people. Things are a little bit different now because the curtain's been pulled back, but they stayed in character. You see what I'm saying? So we're not saying, but that's how present they were. That's how committed they were to their characters, to getting their, in the wrestling world, what they call getting their character over. They almost became that. They stayed present even when they weren't applying their trade, but in theory they still were, because if they were at an autograph signing, or if they were some of these guys that were feuding were actually really good friends. So it'd be like if Kyrie and I were feuding, because we have such good chemistry. So in the ring it looks great, but outside the ring we're best of friends. You know what I'm saying? But then, you got 10-year-old that's asking mommy and daddy to always buy, I want the Kyrie action figure. I want the Kyrie lunchbox. But if he sees that he's good friends with the bad guy, like, oh no, ruins the whole thing. But that's what I love about this topic, and I love about the question. You can go so many different ways with it, because there's no one way to interpret it. It's a lot about interpretation, and that end result tells you if you're right or wrong.
Yo, so you nailed one thing, and I think I'm a Coopify it a little bit, but it's kind of like adopting a persona. right? But still, you have to be present in the moment to kind of keep that around you, right? And the presence is still there, right? So there's Staff Sergeant Cooper, and then there's Kyrie, right? You're probably never going to meet Staff Sergeant Cooper. Sorry. You know what I mean? But my troops, they know, and they respond well to Staff Sergeant Cooper. They wouldn't necessarily respond well to Kyrie, though. Hell, there's probably like 5 people in the world that calls me Kyrie. You know what I mean? Like, most people call me Cool. You know, my dad calls me Hercules. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like there's such. So what I did whenever it's go time in the gym, that's Kyrie. So whenever I come home, it's time to be a husband. I can't bring this to the dinner table. This is ugly. This is competitive. This is a lot of ego. You know what I mean? You know, I know we said we don't curse, but check this out. I can't talk my shit at a dinner table. You're out of place, bro. So, it's kind of like compartmentalizing your life in a sense and realizing and being present in the moment to, yo, my dark side has no spot at the dinner table or leading troops. Period. There's a time to be empathetic and, you know, be a hard ass. There's a time to be a father, a husband. But it's all about being self-aware that, yo, like, you know, calm down and see, I lost it. There was an email that popped up and I was like, rabbit. But yeah, Staff Sergeant Cooper, it's two different personas, but it's all about the balance and the dichotomy of kind of keeping them as separate as possible. Don't bring work home. No one wants, you know, you talking about work 24/7. Talk about something uplifting that can elevate, you know, the people around you in whatever environment that you are in. But yeah, that's all I got, big dog.
Well, I just want to go on a couple of things that you said, because on the live that I did today, that came up about how you kind of can't bring certain things home and everything like that, and how you got to switch those gears. And this is, it's for men, women, it's for just for anybody. You're a different person in different situations. Still requires you to be present. And here's the other thing why it requires you to be present, because if you're not present, you know, you don't want to bring Kyrie home. You want to bring whatever, you know, whatever your wife calls you, you know, honey, sweetheart, whatever. That's what you want to bring home. If you're not present, you may end up bringing Kyrie home on accident.
But that's the thing. It's just like, but you are still whoever it is. It's not like Staff Sergeant Cooper is this total different abstract of a human being. It's like, no, that's just who you are exemplified. You know what I mean?
And it goes to show, if you're not present, the wrong compartment, because we talk about compartment with something, I talk about compartmentalizing all the time. The wrong compartment is opened up. You know what I mean? That's why you got to be present. You know, because it's the same thing. You know, coach me is different than regular me. Coach me, you know, is not as jokey because we got results to get.
Yeah.
Regular me is like, man, I want to have fun. Let's joke. Let's laugh. I mean, I'm still trying to, because like for example, even though the oddest thing, we still have not worked out together, which is
coming
weird.
Soon, brother. If I knock on your door, just let me in.
But you know, while we would be intense, we'd still crack jokes. We still it would be fun, but because we know how to prioritize the work. There's a time for us to joke a little bit, but like, you know, we're both in growth season right now, so we're pushing a little bit heavier weight, so there'll be some spotting going on and things like that. The work will get done, but it's just about being present. Like I'm glad you brought that up, because that's an important one, you know, because we all play different roles in life, literally and figuratively, and you have to be present in each role, because you don't want to show up with the wrong role. It's like, you know, you show up, you know, if you're an actor, and, you know, you're supposed to be playing, you know, a businessman, and you showed up dressed like a homeless person, because that's what you're doing after, the play after. You know what I mean? Be present in what you're doing, and that's how you succeed. But that's I think it's a good way. Well, good way for me to close it, unless I sparked any other thoughts for you?
Nah, man. Another good episode. Let us know what you guys learned. Drop it in the comment section below. And then, 10 months down the line, and he's like, yo, I applied this and it actually worked. Wow. Come back. Drop another comment. Say, yo, hopefully someone else can check it out. Also, follow our Instagrams. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you have any suggestions on a future episode. Drop it in the comments. Drop a DM to us. It don't even matter. But yeah. Until next time, guys. Later.
Peace.